Hello, welcome to our evening session. Yes, it is going to be that kind of session. Got this pan drum a while ago. I don't know how to play it, but just the act of sitting and listening to these beautiful tones is just like so therapeutic. It's from a company called Ravast. I think they're Russian, and you've got all these different scales. So you can listen to them and listen to which scale suits you. Do you feel like something that's a bit more sort of ethereal, fairyland, forest, Celtic? Do you feel like something that's more Arabic, sort of desert-like, and just these kind of mysteries? Do you feel like something that's a bit more melancholic or a bit more hopeful? And you just find it. And once you've got like your scale, like literally, nothing, you can't play a wrong note because they all harmonize perfectly together. And you can just literally just play for yourself. Obviously I should really sit and actually learn how to play it, but just the act of just having this resonant, and you can literally just play two notes and they're just like so heavenly. And then, you know, just adding little elements with these kinds of sounds. It's more about what you don't play, and then just bringing things in, and then you can even play parts that are not on the drum. Just the act of just this physical thing, it's amazing. I love it. And for some reason, I hardly ever take it out, but when I see it, just sitting lonely in the room back there, and I go, oh, my little baby. I just want to sit and just contemplate with it. Anyway, I saw this and I just thought, well, let's bring this out. I love it. I love this. How are you all, everybody out there? How's it going? Wow, this looks like I'm kind of weirdly pregnant with a little drum baby. I'm thirsty. I want to drink something. I can always drink tea. I will probably drink tea. I'm looking around and thinking, I feel like something very refreshing. What's the most refreshing food out there? Not drink, the most refreshing food. I was thinking about that just now. Thinking watermelon, a Chinese pear, nashi pears, you know, those really, you want something that's crispy, that releases juice in your mouth. This flood of juice. What is the most refreshing food? Is it a fruit? Probably has to be a fruit, although maybe not. I mean, it's not going to be something creamy for me. You can have something, you can't be refreshing, but it's never going to be as refreshing as like something that's more water-based. Sorbet, too cold. Crunch. I used to love Chinese pears. And I don't know what's happened. Either they've changed or I've changed. But every time I get a nashi pear or a Chinese pear, I used to call them Asian pears, whatever, I just feel like they're not quite what they used to be. They're either really watery and don't have much flavor, or they have a certain sourness to them which is not pleasant, or like it's just less pleasant. They don't have enough like overall fragrance to them. And it might be that I have just changed my taste and it's more of a kiddie thing. But I used to love Asian pears and watermelon. Is there any fruit more refreshing than that? Can't think of any, but maybe one will come to me. Well, like a really, really, really juicy peach or nectarine, just a really like flooding juiciness. I love that. When you get the right consistency of peach, it's just that right level where it's ripe enough but not overripe, where it becomes a bit more like jellied and less refreshing. You know, Monkey King, Havoc in Heaven. Have you ever seen that cartoon? Or just the stories, the mythology of the Monkey King, when he goes to the heaven and he eats those longevity peaches. I used to become obsessed with those longevity peaches. In fact, if you ever knew of my previous company before Mayleaf, China Life, you'll see that China Life, the logo was the longevity peach. I'll try and dig up that old logo and put it somewhere. It's a terrible logo, but it had a certain charm about it. Anyway, yeah, it was the longevity peach because I was so obsessed with those longevity. When I was a kid, I wanted that longevity peach. And then when white peaches came out, because white peaches were relatively new, for at least for the UK, I was kind of felt like this is getting close. That fragrance, that really uplifting perfumed note of a white peach, but I've kind of now moved back towards yellow peaches. They just have more flavor. There's just more richness in the actual taste than white peaches. I don't understand donut peaches. Now, I know a lot of people love donut peaches. You love your donut peaches. How much of that is because you just like the weird shape of it? Because like every time I try them, they're either crunchy or when they're ripe, they're just, again, they're a bit jellied. They don't have enough of that just straight up juiciness. A good peach is damn fine. This is one of the biggest shifts that's happened in my life in terms of food. And I realize I'm just wearing always the same tops. Like all of my videos are going to be just like, does he never wear anything else? Well, the truth is not. I don't really wear much else, but this is comfy. It's winter, man. I just got to get my comf on. Comf? I've got to get my comfy on. We've got Mystic Tree Pilgrim here. For those Mayleaf followers, you know. Biggest change in my life is I never really was that into fruits. I mean, I like my Asian pears, I like my peaches, but I was always a bit like, and it was always because I knew that the window for like finding a great fruit is quite small, especially in the UK, right, where we don't have. Okay, we've got lots of good fruits in terms of like really good strawberries in summer, and good apples, and some decent pears. But compared to the warmer countries out there, where fruit is more abundant, you could get that window right where you could get the quality of the fruit. And it might also because when I was younger, maybe the logistics of importing fruits and getting them over here at the right freshness was not as efficient or not as accurate. But that window of opportunity where the fruit is like underripe and a bit meh and not very flavorful to overripe and a bit mushy. I hate ricey apples. Like if somebody offers me an apple, I will always say, take a bite and tell me. And then they'll go, is it crunchy or is it ricey? And even if there's the slightest hesitation, if they do this, is it ricey or is it crunchy? No, it's pretty crunchy. No. It's got to be. Oh no, it's crunchy and juicy. So okay, fine, give me that apple, and I love it. But as I've gotten older, maybe the fruits have improved in some ways, or maybe my my appreciation window has risen, that I can kind of just get into the flavors a bit more. But I love fruits now. It's weird. Like, if you had spoken to me 10 years ago, I'd have said, I love fruits, but they have to be right, and therefore I don't really buy them that often. Now it's like, I go to supermarkets, fruits, where are the fruits? Show me the fruits. I want the fruits. That just the natural terps, all of these amazing, and maybe the lesson that tea has taught me a little bit is just like the appreciation of those, of the rich colors of terpenes in fruits. You know, nature's way of like calling you to it, saying, you will eat me. I am, you know, delicious luxury. Come eat me so you can poop out my seeds. You know, nature's way of calling us in, saying, come eat, is it's intoxicating, the taste. And those of you who watched me, my channel, know that durian is it's high up on that list. I can't speak tonight, just forgive me. I'm tired, all right? Look, I should just be chilling right now, but I turned the camera on because, you know, I want to chill with you. And if you spin it, then you naturally play different things. But you got to get into it. I can't just, you know, you got to just like feel it, just get into it. Anyway, fruits, yeah, love them. But unfortunately, we got none. I just looked. I was like, do we have any fruits? No, we don't have any fruits. We've only got bananas, and I'm allergic to bananas, which is nice. I used to like the taste of bananas. They weren't my favorite fruit. Like, I like the taste, sure. They're good filler, great for like smoothies, great to like, you know, put in a banana bread, etc. And sure, you know, I used to like them. But then suddenly one day my body said, nah, mate, we're going to call this evil. I don't know why. I don't know what happened. And I became super allergic to bananas, just out of the blue, from one day to the next. I was going through a lot of panic attacks at the time. I used to suffer a lot from panic attacks. There was a couple of years where I was like seriously, like, it was hard. And I don't know if it was like something, I think it was something related to that. Like, I was mentally in a space of, the world felt very threatening. Everything was like a threat. And I think my body just like accused the banana. I said, I'm blaming you, mate. Your shape's all wrong. Nah, mate, we're not having it. You're the enemy. And then I remember like eating a banana and like just popping up like proper allergic, not, you know, anaphylactic. You know, I had to carry an EpiPen. I went to the doctor and they gave me an EpiPen. I was carrying an EpiPen every now and again just in case a banana just somehow fell in my mouth or something. And they sneak bananas. Yeah, you can sneak bananas in. This was, you know, it was like sweetened with something. What's in there? What's in that? Oh, banana. A lot of juices and smoothies sweetened with banana. Anyway, point is that, I suddenly became allergic to banana. And I've sort of tried it every now and again, and I can still feel that my body still doesn't like it. Because I want to try to get it back into my system. If they're cooked, kind of all right, plantain. But yeah, banana became a no-go. So we've got bananas, but nothing else, which is not very cool. Yeah, a bit annoying. Indeed. So yeah, I used to suffer from panic attacks a lot. And it was always, you know, am I getting into this now? Yeah, we'll touch upon it. I think I've victim. I've experienced issues with perfectionism in my life, which we can talk about. Perfectionism is one of those things, isn't it? That come here, let's chat. Perfectionism is one of those things where, people. I was talking to Celine about it. That somebody came in for an interview and they said, "Oh, I'm a perfectionist." And it's one of those things you pop out in interviews because it's like, I'm admitting a fault, but actually it's a fault that you might like. Perfectionism is a problem for sure. Perfectionism is a problem if it's causing you to, if it's causing anxiety and stress for you. I think that the key thing, of course, is the turning the need into want. In other words, you may want to do something perfectly, whatever that may mean, and that changes for different people, of course. But usually perfectionism comes from something that's indoctrinated into you when you're a child, or is just a natural sense of this is what this is the standard to which I should not just aspire to, but expect of myself. And I always set quite high standards for myself, but turning the need into want. So it's like it's fine to want to achieve things to a high standard, but it's not fine if you need it in order for you to feel good about yourself, or you need it in order to feel calm, or it's the need that's the problem. Want is fine, and I now I've reached a point in my life where I think I'm pretty good at that. People may argue, but I think I'm pretty good at accepting that I'm never going to get things 100% the way I want, and that even coming to 70%, like before, it would give me a lot of it would really put me in a bad place, just not happy with myself and beat myself up a bit. But now it's just it's okay. I wanted it to be better, but it's not. But moving on, and taking that experience and learning from it, and just going, well, how can I apply a different approach next time, and what's the lesson here, and making the shortfall have purpose and having gratitude for it. I think I'm pretty good at that. I think maybe some people wouldn't say that I'm good at that, but that's just because they don't hear my inner dialogue. They see me sort of reacting to, no, it could have been better, that could have been better, blah, 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 blah. But my inner dialogue is, it's all right. Whereas before it might have wound me up. But I don't think that was why I was having panic attacks. Because the other issue that I have in my life, again, not victimhood, but it's I've had since teenagehood, I think early on, I have had OCD. I have OCD. Again, it's sort of that's a term that a lot of people throw around, and I don't know how, to what degree of obsessiveness you need to get to in order for you to be classified as you've got OCD. But my whole life, I've been obsessed with patterns and numbers and seeing patterns. Like, if you do that, then that happens. You do that, and then fixating on those patterns and rituals, and always around a sense of fear, always around a sense of control. And that's what most OCD is, right? It's trying to control things that you can't control, and therefore using weird abstract methods to somehow will it into the universe, and the sort of the boundary line between rituals and intuition. It's a very difficult thing, right? At what point is do you follow your intuition, but then when your intuition is leading you to do obsessive things, or you feel compelled to do certain things, at what point does it turn into something that's not good for you? There's a lot of ceremony in my life, tea being one of them, or in the morning I always light incense and have a moment of sort of reverential stillness, because it's an important ritual for me. But at what point does it become something that is OCD? And it tends to be around trying to control things that I can't control or that are causing me fear and stress and anxiety. And it's usually around, my care for my loved ones. It's always around that. It's not really about my life. It's always about other people's lives. And yeah, this is something that I'm constantly having that dance with. And I remember when I was, I don't know, in my 20s, I think it was when I was having these panic attacks and stuff. Because part of the reason why I had these panic attacks was because I reached a point with the OCD that I said, no, I can't. I got to stop. And I cold turkeyed it. I said, no, stop. Any sort of little voice in my head that says do this or do that, ignore. Just instigate a hardline non-compliance to these compulsions, and it spun me out. I don't even think that was the right thing to do. But anyway, it spun me out. I just like panic attacks because I had no way of calming myself, right? Because I'd sort of built up these sort of ritualistic behaviors that had helped me to temporarily stay calm. And it was temporary because it was just and then it becomes more and more you need to do more and more and more of whatever it is that placates that sense of anxiety. And so I went cold turkey, and that just span me out. Suddenly everything was a threat. And I was literally I remember my blood pressure was, I think 170 something over, it was bad in my 20s, And I remember going to see a friend a good friend who was a psychotherapist. And he was he said, look, let's have a few sessions, whatever, mates, we'll, let me talk you through it. And he's a CBT therapist, cognitive behavioral therapist. Anyway, which is really good for OCD. And so the first, I think I only had a couple of sessions, and they were very useful. But I remember him saying to me, this is very common. A lot of people go through this. A lot of people have very similar, I was talking to him about numbers and my obsessions with different numbers and patterns, and how I used to madly add up numbers. You put a string of numbers in, I'll find that base number. I see here 8364, I know that's a 1, right? No, it's not. Did it wrong, it's a 3. Anyway, so yeah, I was talking to him, and sorry, 8364 was just a thing written on a box here, that's all. And I was talking to him, and he was like, this is very common, these things, and even the most abstract things that I was telling him, that was things that I would connect to. So, I hear about that all the time. And I know that he was trying to make me feel chill about it. It's this happens to everyone. But in fact, the opposite happens. So if everyone, or if lots of people are doing the same thing, and we're not talking about it, but we're individually doing the same thing, then we're tuning into something. I remember going, no, you're not helping me, man. You're not helping me, because now I'm freaking out, because I thought it would be all right if it was just a weird thing that I was doing. But actually lots of people are doing it. That means so maybe there's something to it. Anyway, point is, when you see patterns in everything, it's really amazing, because you can join dots that maybe seem a bit obscure, but you find these connections. And I think that's something that I feel very blessed by. I'm very grateful for, because I think it helps shape the way that I look at the world. I go to one arena like medicine, and then I go to another arena I don't know, relationships or food and drink, or philosophy or music or whatever, and I see these things that connect with each other. I see patterns in the way that things unfold, and the way that things reveal themselves, and the various different perspectives that you get from wide, high pattern view all the way to very intricate detail, sort of a slightly atomized reductionist view, but then the more you go in, the more you go out, right? The deeper you go in, the more you go deeper, and you just keep going. It becomes a fractal, which is why I was obsessed with fractals, and we did that fractal fate finder game for Mayleaf. It's just that whole, you go in. I remember my dad always used to say, you know, you go out and out into space, out of space, and you go into the atom. And if you go into the atom, you go out into space. And that always spun me out, like this idea of inside and outside being the same thing. And the patterns that you can find in approaches, in ways of seeing, so fascinating. And yeah, so like I feel very blessed and grateful for that I see the world in that way, but it comes with its tests. Let's say that. It comes with its tests. And one of those tests is that you can become so like obsessed with seeing the patterns and sort of you start to lose it a little bit. You start to lose the stillness. You start to lose the quiet, and everything becomes noise. And yeah. Anyway, that's my interpretation of OCD. I'm sure everyone has different ones, but it's how did I get on bananas? See, bananas got me onto OCD. Anyway, there you go.